Happy birthday, Rachel. God, it's awful. I'm looking at myself and the thing. What? Yes, anyway. Happy birthday. And I'm hoping you will like this extract. I won't tell you what it's from because I think you'll know. On that first morning, when the sky was blue again, Mary wakened very early. The sun was pouring in slanting rays through the blinds, and there was something so joyous in the sight of it that she jumped out of bed and ran to the window. She drew up the blinds and opened the window itself, and a great waft of fresh, scented air blew in upon her. The moor was blue, and the whole world looked as if something magic had happened to it. There were tender little fluting sounds here and there and everywhere, as if scores of birds were beginning to tune up for a concert. Mary put her hand out of the window and held it in the sun. "It's warm, warm," she said. "It will make the green points push up and up and up, and it will make the bulbs and roots work and struggle with all their might under the earth." She kneeled down and leaned out of the window as far as she could, breathing big breaths. "It must be very early," she said. "The little clouds are all pink, and I've never seen the sky look like this. No one is up. I don't even hear the stable boys." A sudden thought made her scramble to her feet. "I can't wait. I am going to see the garden." She unchained and unbolted and unlocked, and when the door was open, she sprang across the step with one bound. And there she was, standing on the grass, which seemed to have turned green, and with the sun pouring down on her, and warm, sweet wafts about her, and the fluting and twittering and singing coming from every bush and tree. She clasped her hands for pure joy and looked up in the sky, and it was so blue and pink and pearly and white and flooded with springtime light that she felt as if she must flute and sing aloud herself, and knew that the thrushes and robins and skylarks could not possibly help it. She ran around the shrubs and paths towards the secret garden. "It is all different already," she said. "The grass is greener, and things are sticking up everywhere, and things are uncurling, and green buds of leaves are showing. This afternoon I am sure Dickon will come." The long, warm rain had done strange things to the herbaceous beds which bordered the walk by the lower wall. There were things sprouting and pushing out from the roots of clumps of plants, and there were actually here and there glimpses of royal purple and yellow unfurling among the stems of crocuses. 6 months before, Mistress Mary would not have seen how the world was waking up, but now she missed nothing. When she had reached the place where the door hid itself under the ivy, she was startled by a curious loud sound. It was the caw, caw of a crow, and it came from the top of the wall. And when she looked up, there sat a big, glossy-plumaged, blue-black bird, looking down at her very wisely indeed. She had never seen a crow so close before, and he made her a little nervous. But the next moment he spread his wings and flapped away across the garden. She hoped he was not going to stay inside, and she pushed the door open, wondering if he would. When she got fairly into the garden, she saw that he probably did intend to stay, because he had alighted on a dwarf apple tree, and under the apple tree was lying a little reddish animal with a bushy tail, and both of them were watching the stooping body and rust-red head of Dickon, who was kneeling on the grass, working hard. Mary flew across the grass to him. "Oh, Dickon, Dickon," she cried out, "how could you get here so early? The sun has only just got up." He got up himself laughing and glowing and tousled, his eyes like a bit of the sky. "Hey," he said, "I was up long before him. How could I have stayed abed? The world's all fair begun again this morning, it has, and it's working and humming and scratching and piping and nest building and breathing out scents till you've got to be out on it 'stead of lying on your back. When the sun did jump up, the moor went mad for joy, and I was in the midst of the heather, and I run like mad myself, shouting and singing, and I come straight here. I couldn't have stayed away. Why, the garden was lying here waiting." Mary put her hands on her chest, panting as if she had been running herself. "Oh, Dickon, Dickon," she said, "I'm so happy I can scarcely breathe." Lots of love. Happy birthday.
Hello Granny, happy birthday. I hope you're okay. I can't wait to see you when all of this is over. I just thought I'd play you a little song on guitar. It's Blackbird by the Beatles. I hope you enjoy.
Hi Granny, I just wanted to say happy birthday and sorry that I couldn't be there or anyone else. So I just found this this short paragraph from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I thought that you might like. "So this is it," said Arthur. "We are going to die." "Yes," said Ford. "Except, no! Wait a minute!" He suddenly lunged across the chamber at something behind Arthur's line of vision. "What's this switch?" he cried. "What? Where?" cried Arthur, twisting round. "No, I was only fooling," said Ford. "We are going to die after all."
Hi Flump, I want to wish you a very, very happy 80th birthday, and I'm so sorry that we can't all get together to celebrate it with you. It's a mighty long time, 80 years, and anyway, we're so looking forward to seeing you, being with you, and of course celebrating with you. So anyway, I've chosen a short passage which I know you've read, and it's got to be my favourite book, and I'm gonna have to try and stop myself from laughing, but anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Whatever my purpose in going to Yellowstone, I'm glad I went because I discovered something about Charlie I might never have known. A pleasant-looking national park man checked me in, and then he said, "How about that dog? They aren't permitted in except on a leash." "Why?" I asked. "Because of the bears." "Sir," I said, "this is a unique dog. He does not live by tooth or fang. He respects the right of cats to be cats, although he doesn't admire them. He turns his steps rather than disturb an earnest caterpillar. His greatest fear is that someone will point out a rabbit and suggest that he chase it. This is a dog of peace and tranquility. And I suggest the greatest danger to your bears will be pique at being ignored by Charlie." The young man laughed. "I wasn't so much worried about the bears," he said, "but our bears have developed an intolerance for dogs. One of them might demonstrate his prejudice with a clip on the chin, and then no dog. I'll lock him in the back, sir. I promise you Charlie will cause no ripple in the bear world." and as an old bear looker, neither will I. I just have to warn you, he said. I have no doubt your dog has the best of intentions. On the other hand, our bears have the worst. Don't leave food about. Not only do they steal, but they are critical of anyone who tries to reform them. In a word, don't believe their sweet faces or you might get clobbered. And don't let the dog wander. Bears don't argue. We went on our way into the wonderland of nature gone nuts, and you'll have to believe what happened. The only way I can prove it would be to get a bear. Less than a mile from the entrance I saw a bear beside the road, and it ambled out as though to flag me down. Instantly, a change came over Charlie. He shrieked with rage. His lips flared, showing wicked teeth that have some trouble with a dog biscuit. He screeched insults at the bear, which hearing, the bear reared up and seemed to me to overtop Rocinante. Frantically I rolled the windows shut and, swinging quickly to the left, grazed the animal, then scuttled on while Charlie raved and ranted beside me, describing in detail what he would do to that bear if he could get at him. I was never so astonished in my life. To the best of my knowledge, Charlie had never seen a bear, and in his whole history had showed great tolerance for every living thing. Besides all this, Charlie is a coward. So deep-seated a coward that he has developed a technique for concealing it. And yet he showed every evidence of wanting to get out and murder a bear that outweighed him 1,000 to 1. I don't understand it. A little further along, 2 bears showed up, and the effect was doubled. Charlie became a maniac. He leaped all over me, he cursed and growled, snarled and screamed. I didn't know he had the ability to snarl. Where did he learn it? Bears were in good supply, and the road became a nightmare. For the first time in his life, Charlie resisted reason. He even resisted a cuff on the ear. He became a primitive killer, lusting for the blood of his enemy, and up to this moment he had had no enemies. In a bearless stretch, I opened the cab, took Charlie by the collar, and locked him in the house. But that did no good. When we passed other bears, he leaped on the table and scratched at the windows, trying to get out at them. I could hear canned goods crashing as he struggled in his mania. Bears simply brought out the hide in my Jekyll-headed dog. What could have caused it? Was it a pre-breed memory of a time when the wolf was in him? I know him well. Once in a while he tries a bluff, but it is a palpable lie. I swear this was no lie. I am certain that if he were released, he would have charged every bear we passed and found victory or death. It was too nerve-wracking, a shocking spectacle, like seeing an old, calm friend go insane. No amount of natural wonders, of rigid cliffs and belching waters, of smoking springs could even engage my attention while that pandemonium went on. After about the 5th encounter I gave up, turned Rocinante about and retraced my way. If I had stopped the night and the bears had gathered to my cooking, I dare not think what would have happened. At the gate, the park guard checked me out. Well, you didn't stay long. Where's the dog? Locked up back there. And I owe you an apology. That dog has the heart and soul of a bear killer, and I didn't know it. Heretofore he has been a little tender-hearted towards an underdone steak. Yeah, he said, that happens sometimes. That's why I warned you. A bear dog would know his chances, but I've seen a Pomeranian go up like a puff of smoke. You know, a well-favoured bear can bat a dog like a tennis ball. I moved fast back the way I had come, and I was reluctant to camp for fear there might be some unofficial non-government bears about. That night I spent in a pretty auto court near Livingston. I had my dinner in a restaurant, and when I had settled in with a drink and a comfortable chair, and my bathed feet bear on a carpet with red roses, I inspected Charlie. He was dazed. His eyes held a faraway look, and he was totally exhausted, emotionally no doubt. Mostly he reminded me of a man coming out of a long, hard drunk. Worn out, depleted, collapsed. He couldn't eat his dinner. He refused the evening walk, and once we were in, he collapsed on the floor and went to sleep. In the night I heard him whining and yapping, and when I turned on the light his feet were making running gestures, and his body jerked and his eyes were wide open, but it was only a night bear. I awakened him and gave him some water. This time he went to sleep and didn't stir in the night at all. In the morning he was tired. I wonder why we think the thoughts and emotions of animals are simple. There we are, Flump. Happy birthday. I hope you have as lovely a day as you can, and we all look forward to seeing you so much properly. Lots of love, Flump. Bye.